Streaming live at Rogers Centre in Toronto, Ontario, where New England Sports Network presents Boston Red Sox baseball. Tonight it's Game 2 between the Red Sox and the Blue Jays. Hi, everybody. I'm Don Orsillo. Welcome to Red Sox baseball, the middle game of the series. And again tonight, the Red Sox without their leadoff hitter and center fielder, Johnny Damon. Of course, had the cortisone shot on Friday night after the game in New York and did not play over the weekend. And as it turned out, returned to Boston. Had an MRI this morning. And the good news is there's no structural damage for Johnny Damon. The bad news is he will not rejoin the Red Sox until Thursday. It has been tough to keep Johnny Damon out of the lineup this season, and he's been banged up quite a bit. May the 31st, banging into the wall in the triangle at Fenway Park, had stitches over his eye, but was able to return to the Red Sox lineup. Then on August the 29th, hit on the hand with a pitch against Tampa Bay, missed just one game as he was able to come back after being hit. And then this injury, the one that he's dealing with now, September the 4th against Baltimore, diving back into the bag at second base, and it will keep him on the shelf until he returns on Thursday night. Well, it's been another tremendous season for Johnny Damon as we look at the numbers. On August 30th, he scored his 100th run. Now has at least 100 runs and 30 doubles in 8 straight seasons. And since his first All-Star start in 51 games, a .284 batting average and 29 runs batted in, a huge part of the Red Sox lineup. As we welcome in Jerry Remy. Jerry, a great win last night for the Red Sox in the end, and one of the biggest parts, the first Major League victory for Jonathan Papelbon.
Well, Don, this is a very unusual open because we're talking about two guys that are not going to be in this ball game tonight, but I think it's worth revisiting last night for Jonathan Papelbon. And look, I'm not one who gets overly excited about young pitchers, but I am very, very excited about Jonathan Papelbon, and these are the reasons why. First of all, watch his location with an overpowering fastball. Veritek sets up inside. He's going to get that fastball from Papelbon right in the spot that he wants it to tie up the right-handed hitter and get a little bit of a pop-up. And if you watch consistently through all his pitches, once again, Veritek setting up away from the left-hander. He wants the fastball away. Right in the location, right in the target is Papelbon, again with the fastball for the strike. Now Veritek wants to go upstairs. He wants to go up and in against the left-hander. And you're going to see Papelbon again be able to adjust, to go upstairs, get that fastball, and again tie up the left-handed hitter. The location was just unbelievable to me for a young pitcher. Same thing to end the ball game. Upstairs with the fastball, you'll see the target go up from Jason Veritek, and boom, he's going to be right there with it to end the ball game. So I mean, you know, this kid has showed me an awful lot in the performances he's had so far, both as a starter and reliever. And you can bet your life that he's going to be a big-time winner for the Red Sox in the future. But more importantly, for the remainder of this season and into the playoffs, hopefully for the Red Sox, he's going to be a major contributor to this ball club. Well,
the Red Sox look to make it 2 in a row for the Toronto Blue Jays. We're back with the first pitch from Rogers Centre after this. Subaru, by Foxwoods Resort Casino, by New England Dodge Dealers, by Miller Beer.
Good call.
By Chevrolet, by Dunkin' Donuts, and by Southwest Airlines. Good evening once again, everybody. Welcome back to Rogers Centre for Game 2 of this 3-game series between the Red Sox and the Toronto Blue Jays. As the Red Sox able to get the victory here last night in extra innings, it took 11 to get it done, but the Red Sox with the victory. And tonight they go after their second win of the series. And we take a look at the Red Sox starting 9, brought to you by Dodge. Leading it off for Boston at second base, Tony Graffinino. Edgar Renteria at shortstop. David Ortiz, a designated hitter. Manny Ramirez in left field. Jason Veritek doing the catching. Devin Millar in right field. Kevin Youkilis getting the start at first base, batting 7th. Bill Miller at third base, bats 8th. And Gabe Kapler in center field. And Johnny Damon's absence. And Kapler bats 9th. Red Sox going up against Scott Downs.
23rd appearance on the season for Downs. He's making his 10th start. You see his starts in 9 games, 2-3 record with a 4.13 ERA. The Red Sox have seen him only one time, and that was back on May 24th, right here at the Rogers Centre. He came in relief and pitched 3 2/3 innings against the Red Sox. The Blue Jay defense is brought to you by New England Toyota dealers. Last night at second base, Aaron Hill had a very, very nice defensive game for Toronto. A couple of very good plays, and actually to save some big runs in that ball game. He'll be joined tonight by Koski and Adams in the infield, along with Hinsky, Catalanano, Wells, and Gross in the outfield, and Greg Zahn doing the catching for Downs.
Umpiring crew has Rob Drake in behind the plate calling the balls and strikes. Wally Bell at first base, John Hirschbeck at second base, and Lance Barksdale, the umpire, at third. Where available, this telecast can be heard in Spanish by selecting the SAP button on your television remote. Enjoy the game.
Buenas noches, amigos.
First pitch of the game in there for a strike over the outside corner to Tony Graffinino. 306, 5 homers, and 33 runs batted in. Graffinino leading off here last night for the Red Sox as well, was 1 for 6 in the first game of the series. And it drops in there for a strike.
Red Sox are not going to see an overpowering left-handed tonight. Fastball will be in the mid to high 80s. The curveball that you just saw there, the slider and changeup.
One just missing away. Tonight, the 5th time that Tony Graffinino has led off, and he's been all over the Red Sox lineup since joining the Red Sox, coming over from the Kansas City Royals. Shoots it foul down the right field line, and it's 2-2 to Graffinino. Blue Jays starter tonight, Scott Downs, 29 years old, from Lexington, Kentucky. And he strikes out Graffinino to begin his night. Tony knew it.
He's had one game this season where he had 8 strikeouts. That was against the Texas Rangers. That's his high. After a couple of breaking balls away, the fastball right down the middle, and obviously no complaint there from Graffinino.
So 1 away, and here's Edgar. 281, 7 homers, and 61 runs batted in. Renteria 1 for 6 in the ball game last night with an RBI. Sits safely in 18 of his last 23 games. In the air to left field, Frank Catalanato, a step or two to his left, and there's 2 away.
Actually, Downs has been pitching pretty well recently. Over his last 6 outings, he's had 5 quality starts with a 2-1 record and a 2.67 ERA.
So 2 down for David Ortiz. David with the 2 home runs here last night, with 40 on the season now. To go along with the 295 batting average, 126 runs batted in. Ortiz showing butt, dropping it down foul.
Well, we've seen this more and more for David Ortiz with the shift on, just trying to drop one down that third base line. I believe he's been successful at that 1 time. And because of this, that's not going to change the defense at all. They're going to stay in the exact same positions. As a matter of fact, they'd prefer Ortiz to bunt.
Well, David Ortiz, of course, doing it in Los Angeles against the Angels. It's time now for the Coors Cold Blast, and there were a couple of them here last night. Of course, Ortiz with the first one, but Manny Ramirez with the second one, and then the biggest one. In the 11th inning, the 40th home run of the season for David Ortiz. Gave the Red Sox the lead and the eventual victory here last night. The home run leaders, David only behind A-Rod, who has 41 on the season. The Yankees beginning a series against Tampa Bay tonight. Ortiz trying to bunt again, and he fouls it off again.
And you know what? When he does that, everybody in the other dugout goes, "Thank you very much. We will certainly give you the bunt single as opposed to the home run."
John Gibbons hoping that he does that. As we mentioned, it's only happened once this season. He's been able to get it down. That was in Los Angeles against the Angels. He has tried a couple of other times. Pitch inside and the full count. He has enjoyed his time this season against the Toronto Blue Jays. 366, 4 homers, and 14 runs batted in. The Red Sox overall have not enjoyed the season series. As Ortiz walks on down to first base with 2 down. Red Sox have their first base runner of the night.
He's become a feisty little leadoff hitter, hasn't he? A couple of bunt attempts and then drawing the walk. Now if he steals, I'm going to put the headphones down and leave.
92nd walk, and that leads the American League for David Ortiz, who's at first base with 2 down. Here's Manny. Last night with his 35th home run of the season, .285 batting average, and 122 runs batted in. Season series, the Red Sox are 4-8 this year against the Toronto Blue Jays. Last night snapped a 5-game losing streak here at Rogers Center. First time in more than 2 months the teams had matched up. And the Red Sox able to take the first game of the series. Falling behind 2-0. And he now with 2 home runs in the last 3 games. He homered on Saturday as well as last night. In there for a strike to Ramirez, and it's 2-1. Home run was not all that he did here last night. A 3-for-6 ball game for Manny Ramirez with a home run, a couple of RBIs. They did not hold Ortiz on at first base. Manny fouls it off to the right. And it evens up now at 2-2. Red Sox have won 11 of their last 16 games. In a stretch in which the Red Sox will play 30 games in 30 days. The 21st game of that stretch for the Red Sox. Ramirez chops it off the plate. Koski has to wait for it to come down. The throw is going to be just in time to get Manny and to end the inning. Red Sox get nothing. The Blue Jays coming up. Back at Rogers Center, the Red Sox don't score in the first. Blue Jays coming up in the bottom of the first, and the Blue Jays lineup is brought to you by Rico. Russ Adams leads it off at shortstop for Toronto. Frank Catalanato in left. Vernon Wells in center field. Corey Koski at third base. Shea Hillenbrand the DH tonight. Eric Hinsky at first base. Greg Zahn doing the catching. Aaron Hill had a nice night defensively at second base last night. Bats eighth. And Gabe Gross right field bats ninth. Red Sox send Matt Clement to the mound.
And Matt Clement would like to try to turn it around here against the Blue Jays. He's had some difficulty with him this year. In 2 games, a total of 11 2/3 innings and 11 earned runs allowed, an 0-1 record. He lost last time out but pitched well against the Angels. The problem was Paul Beard pitched a little bit better than Clement in that ball game.
So here's Russ Adams to lead it off for the Blue Jays. And he takes ball 1 from Clement. Adams starts tonight at .263, 8 homers, and 60 runs batted in. And there for a strike, even the count at 1-1. The 29th start of the season for Matt Clement. One on the hands and a 2-hopper out to Graffinino. Throws it out for the first out.
The Red Sox defense is brought to you by Lexus, and it'll be Bill Miller at third base, Edgar Renteria the shortstop, Tony Graffinino at second, and Kevin Youkilis gets the start at first. Left to right, Ramirez, Kapler, and Millar. Jason Varitek doing the catching for Clement. The Red Sox 12th in the league, 101 errors on the season.
Down for Frank Catalanato. We had a little better than 24,000 here last night. It looks like a smaller crowd, at least at this point, here tonight.
Yeah, it's tough to read the crowds here because it's such a big place. I didn't think they were 24 last night.
A far cry from what we saw here when the Blue Jays opened their season. The Red Sox were here for their home opener. There was a sellout here at Rogers Center. A scarce gathering here tonight. Grounded foul outside of first base. Arenado 1 for 5 in the ballgame last night. Had a double and a strikeout. As he gets another start in left field tonight. And for the sellout on opening night, they had 50,560. This is rifled into the Blue Jays dugout on the third base side, scattering them.
You might have noticed that graphic when we were showing you Clement's numbers. The fact that on the road he's been very good in 13 starts, a 5-1 record on the road this season.
This is this time outside, 2-2. Some of the Blue Jays prepared for anything that may come in their direction. After it was a hot shot down there towards the end of the dugout moments ago. Popped up foul. This will get back into the seats. And Clement at Fenway 8-3 with a 4.18 earned run average. Away 5-1, 4.15 earned run average. So ERA about the same home to road. 4 wins at Fenway Park for Clement.
And that only loss on the road was at St. Louis back during interleague play.
It's just a 4-inning effort for Clement. He gave up 7 hits and 7 runs. In the air to right center field. Not deep. In from right comes Millar. Up goes Graffinino, who makes the catch and is held onto by Kapler. Millar there as well. And it's Tony Graffinino who makes the catch for out number 2.
Well, this had disaster written all over it for 3 different guys, Graffinino, Kapler, and Kevin Millar. And a pretty courageous play by Tony Graffinino at second base to make this. Millar sliding, Kapler there to hold up Graffinino. And fortunately, nobody hurt, and they get the out. As a second baseman, you go back until you are called off by an outfielder. If you don't hear that, you've got to try to make the play.
Vernon Wells after the first pitch rolls it down the third baseline. Miller throws him out at first base. And it's a nice clean 1-2-3 first inning for Matt Clement. Scoreless after 1.
Tom Karen with you back in our NESN studios. Jason Giambi and the Yankees in their personal house of horrors, St. Petersburg. Looking good early for the Yankees. Giambi, his 30th homer of the year, a 3-run shot off Doug Wechter. The first 4 batters up would get on base, and they're still threatening. Bases loaded for the Yankees. They lead at 3-0 already. Gary Sheffield back in the lineup for New York tonight. Let's go back to Toronto.
All right, Tom, thanks very much. So a fast start tonight for the New York Yankees as Jason Varitek leads it off here in the second inning. Varitek hitting at .289 with 21 homers and 66 runs batted in. And there for a strike from Scott Downs. Varitek, Millar, and Youkilis expected here in the second inning for the Red Sox. Varitek 1 for 5 in the ball game last night, and has struggled lately over the last 7 games. He was 3 for his last 25.
He was out early this afternoon with a number of Red Sox players taking extra batting practice at about 2:30 this afternoon here at Rogers Center. You know, a lot of times this time of year you see some of the extra guys getting extra swings, but there was a lot of the regulars out there tonight. Well, this afternoon, I should say, getting some extra batting practice under the tutelage of Papa Jack.
Strike 3 call, Jason Varitek. The second strikeout of the night for Scott Downs.
Stay tuned to NESN tonight after Sports Desk for an encore of the premiere of Stories from Red Sox Nation, hosted by Don Orsillo and presented by Granite City Electric and Dunkin' Donuts. Tonight at 11:30 after Sports Desk, only on NESN.
One down for Kevin Millar. Game to start at right field. Red Sox dealing with another left-handed starter. So Nixon not in the starting lineup tonight. Millar is. Player Profile is brought to you by Sovereign Bank, the official bank of the Red Sox cable network. It has worked out well. Millar has gotten the start in right field. .364 average. It's a strike over the inside corner, and it's 1-2.
Mentioned the Red Sox faced Downs earlier this season in a relief outing, and two players have hits against him, Kevin Millar and Bill Miller, and both have home runs against Downs.
This one tap foul. Millar riding an 11-game hitting streak. Hitting at .368 over the season best for him, 11 straight games. Millar after the 1-2 fouls it off down the left field line, back into the seats. Millar last night with 2 hits and 3 at bats. He also was able to draw a walk. And a .262 against left-handed pitchers. This time chops one to third. Corey Koski. And there's 2 down here in the top half of the second inning. Here comes Kevin Youkilis getting the start at first base tonight for the Red Sox. Starting the night hitting at .270 with the home run, 9 runs batted in. Had to start at first base on Sunday in New York against the Yankees. Had a single off Randy Johnson in the 4th inning. One of just a couple of hits for the Red Sox off Randy Johnson. For a strike over the inside corner. Youkilis quickly down, 0-2.
Again, not overpowering for Downs, but very efficient with his fastball, hitting his spots in and out.
Downs, 29 years old, from Lexington, Kentucky. Originally drafted by the Chicago Cubs in the 3rd round back in 1997. Made his major league debut with the Cubs in 2000. Time with Montreal. Parts of 3 seasons before coming here to the Toronto Blue Jays. Last year, as a member of the Expos in their final season of existence, he was 3-6 in 12 starts, a 5.14 earned run average. Spending the bulk of the year at AAA Edmonton. And signed by the Blue Jays as a free agent this past offseason. This is away, and it's 2-2 now to Youkilis.
Blue Jays have used 9 starting pitches this season. Downs is number 8 on that list.
Youkilis turns on this, but fouls it back into the seats.
I see the advertising behind home plate, Don, for Fever Pitch, and as I told you last night, I was going out and get it today. By the time I got there this morning, sold out.
Oh.
Sold out.
I'll tell you what, I will get you one when we get back. Don't go back to the store tomorrow. I will get you one when we return home. Youkilis rips it towards the gap in left center field, and it's off the scoreboard. And Wells plays to Karaman into second base with a 2-out double, and the first Boston hit of the night is Kevin Youkilis.
Nice at bat by Youkilis, fouling off a number of pitches and finally getting a fastball that he can drive in that gap in left center field. Fastball down and in. And one hop right off the bottom of that scoreboard that has been sanded down since opening day. And Youkilis with a 2-out double.
Sanded down and darkened significantly. It was very, very bright on opening night here in Toronto, and they have tweaked it quite a bit as it is now much darker. And of course, Johnny Damon got injured on that scoreboard on opening night as he ran into it out there. They had some rough edges. Ended up cutting his elbow. Here's Bill Miller with 2 down. Down starts off ahead. Miller at .295, 8 homers and 57 runs batted in. He's 0 for 3 here last night, but did get on base twice as he walked on 2 occasions. On the right side, he's hitting at just .261 on the season. As you look at the breakdown, up over 300. Batting left-handed, .307, and 6 of the 8 home runs he has from the left side. This is the 3rd straight lefty starter the Red Sox have seen. To right field, Gabe Gross with room puts it away, and the Red Sox are gone in the second, scoreless after an inning and a half. Husky, Hillenbrand, and Hinsky at the bottom of the second. Husky at .236 has been a disappointing season for him. 11 homers and 32 runs batted in his first season in a Blue Jays uniform. And Clement not disappointed by his first inning effort as he retired the Blue Jays in order. 12 pitches, 2 groundouts. Husky rolls it foul over by the Red Sox dugout, and it's 2-1. Grounder foul, and it's 2-2 to Koski. Time member of the Minnesota Twins, Canadian born, and in his first season back here in Canada playing for the Toronto Blue Jays. First year in the big leagues with the Twins was 1998, stayed there through 2004. Originally a 26th round pick by the Twins. 31 years old and resides in Fort Myers, Florida. Of course, where the Minnesota Twins train, as well as the Red Sox. Many of the Twins living there year-round. In the hands and grounded foul outside of first base. This year for Koski was back in 2001. He had 26 homers and 103 runs batted in. Shea Hillenbrand waits on deck. On an in, ball 4, and a leadoff walk for Corey Koski. It's time now for the Boston Works job report. And Arthur Rhodes, who's had a very good season for the Indians, will miss the remainder of the season due to a family illness. Rhodes was 3-1 with a 2.08 earned run average in 47 games this season. He had missed time earlier this year for the same reason, and now will miss the rest of the year. So that's a huge problem for the Indians as he leaves for a personal matter. Boston Works every Sunday in the Boston Globe and online at bostonworks.com. Originally was placed on a bereavement leave. Arthur Rhodes back on August the 5th. Leaving for the rest of the year. So big setback there for the Indians, whose bullpen has been very good. He's been a big part of it. Shea Hillenbrand, the batter. Hillenbrand, the designated hitter in tonight's game for Toronto. Koski at first base. He walked to begin the inning on his 4th walk of the series. Well, Clement has fallen behind Hillenbrand, 2-0. There's a strike, 2-1 to Hillenbrand. Shea last night 0 for 5 in the ball game. Laces it into left field. This will get by Ramirez to the track in the wall. Koski being stopped at third base. And a hot shot and a double for Shea Hillenbrand. And the sudden the Blue Jays have 2 in scoring position with nobody out.
Shea Hillenbrand, who generally finds himself behind in the count. He swings at a lot of first pitches. That time found himself ahead of the count, 2-1. He gets gets that fastball out over the plate and hits it hard down that left field line. So Hillenbrand picking up his first hit of the series. 0 for 5 last night, but now the double and some trouble for the Red Sox.
His 35th double of the season here with the Blue Jays. He had 36 all of last year as a member of the Arizona Diamondbacks. So second and third, nobody out. Eric Hinske, the batter. .264, 12 homers, and 56 runs batted in. And Hillenbrand flip-flopping tonight. Shea is the DH, and Hinske getting the start at first base tonight. Hinske has enjoyed his time against the Red Sox this season. He had .462 in 12 games against the Red Sox. 2 homers and 10 runs batted in.
And good success against Clement. 3 for 5. Infield bit playing back early in the ball game.
Inside, Clement has been behind here in the second inning. And behind Hinske, 2-0. The outside corner for a strike, 2-1. And Clement last time out against the Los Angeles Angels, a loss for him. His first loss since July the 16th against the Yankees. So he went 6 2/3, giving up 5 hits and 3 runs to 103 pitches against the Angels. Swing and a miss. And it's 2-2 now to Hinske.
Looked like a slider that time from Clement to get the swing and miss from Hinske. Sometimes it's difficult to tell between the slider and the cut fastball from Matt Clement. That was the slider.
Koski at third, Hillenbrand at second with nobody out. Swing and a miss, and Hinske strikes out. Well, a good time as any for Clement to rack up his first strikeout of the night. Still in scoring position, he strikes out Eric Hinske.
Back-to-back sliders to pick up the strikeout with the men in scoring position. Clement now with 137 strikeouts. He's just out of the top 10 in the American League. CC Sabathia, number 10 with 139.
Certainly no contact, the way to go. And Hinske strikes out. Greg Zahn, the batter. Blue Jays catcher at .261, 9 homers and 53 runs batted in. Zahn 2 for 5 in the game last night.
Infield back again. The only spot Koski probably can't score for is a ground ball to third or back to the pitcher.
This one fouled off down the left field line. Will make its way back into the seats. Well, earlier this year hit a grand slam off the Red Sox back on April the 9th. It's right here at Rogers Center. And that game had a career high 5 RBIs. There's a total of 9 home runs for Toronto this season. Koski at third base, Hillenbrand at second with 1 away. And fouls it off again down the left field line. Aaron Hill waits on deck. Orlando Hudson still out of the Blue Jays lineup. He's been bothered by the sprained ankle. Aaron Hill was at second base last night. Made some pretty good defensive plays. Back in there again tonight. Blue Jays sliding a game under 500 with a loss here last night. They're now 71 and 72. 13 games back of the Red Sox in the American League East. Toronto's lost the last 2 games in a row. Zahn hits it in the air to deep right field. Millar was shallow. He goes back and has no chance. High to the track of the wall. Koski scores from third. Hillenbrand's in behind him. And it is a 2-run double for Zahn to give the Blue Jays the 2-0 lead.
Everybody in the outfield was shallow against Zahn. Millar, Kapler, and Ramirez, and they were shading him the other way. That time he gets the cutter that's up in the zone, and he lifts it up over the head of Kevin Millar. Now shallow Millar's playing against Zahn, and that ball gets up over the glove. 2 runs come in, and Zahn ends up at second base with the double. 55 runs batted in for Zahn on the season.
So the Blue Jays off to the fast start on top 2-0. There's Aaron Hill. With 269, 3 homers, and 34 runs batted in. Aaron Hill 0 for 4 in the ball game here last night. Swings at the 1-0 and sends it into center field for a base hit. Greg Zahn being waved around. Kapler's throw is going to be not in time. Veritek thought he had him, but Zahn gets in the outside edge of the plate, and it is a 3-0 Toronto lead. Terry Francona out of the Red Sox dugout.
Well, it's tough to tell from up here. Zahn with the head first slide going in with the hand. A very good throw by Gabe Kapler. And you can see all the way in the air to Veritek. He tries to block the plate, but it does look like the hand gets to the back of the plate before the tag is applied. There's the head first slide. I think the hand was on the plate by the time that tag got on Zahn. Couple of bad pitches by Clement in this inning, keeping it up in the zone, and the result has been 3 runs.
Here's Gabe Gross. Clement has had his problems against the Blue Jays. 14 runs allowed in 13 innings. That includes tonight's 3 runs so far by the Blue Jays. They have scored 3 times here in the bottom of the second inning. Aaron Hill at second base. Single and an RBI for Hill. He took second on the throw. And he's there as there's just 1 out of the inning. And this is hit deep and far to right by Gabe Gross. Back goes Millar, and that is gone. 2-run home run for Gabe Gross. He is first. And it puts the Blue Jays on top 5-0.
This has been an inning where Matt Clement has not been able to make quality pitches. A lot of his pitches are staying up. The one to Zahn, the one to Hill, and now here looks like a slider that stays about thigh high. And for a left-handed hitter, that's exactly where you like it. Gabe Gross with his first home run of the season.
Wallace out to talk to Clement. 24 pitches in the inning and a 5-run inning for the Toronto Blue Jays. Russ Adams will be the next batter for the Jays. All started with a leadoff walk by Corey Koski. Hillenbrand doubled. Hensky struck out. Runners at second and third. Then Greg Zahn with a double to right that plated 2. A single by Aaron Hill gives them their 3rd run, and now the 2-run home run for Gabe Gross. Just like that, the Blue Jays on top 5-0. Here's Russ Adams. He shows bunt and takes a pitch outside. Adams grounded out to second base his first time up. Grounded down the first baseline. Tough hop stays fair, and Euclid tags the bag himself. Well, the roles have reversed here a little bit tonight, as the Red Sox enjoyed the 5-0 lead last night. Of course, the Blue Jays came back to tie it up. So the Red Sox were victorious in 11 innings. It's Toronto tonight with the 5-0 lead. Here's Frank Catalanato. Popped out to second base first time up. Sends the opposite way to deep left. Ramirez back onto the warning track to make the catch. But ends the inning. The damage certainly done. The Jays scored 5 times, lead it 5-0.
Johnny that too. And we had to push him in that direction because he wants to play so bad. Now he'll stay back in Boston the next 2 days. He'll work with Scott Waugh. And the hope is that we get home, he'll be back, join us, and be in center field. If we have to delay it a day, we can do that. I think delaying it a day or two is a lot better than losing him.
Certainly an optimistic report on Damon here today. Francona went on to say that he thinks Damon's arm problems can be traced back to, you talked about it before, when he had that collision with the new scoreboard in left center field. Remember, he had to get some stitches in his elbow. Francona said Johnny changed his arm angle, his throwing style, his motion a little bit just in his day-to-day throwing, and that's been a bit of a problem all season long, and now it's added up here with a shoulder injury as well, guys.
All right, Eric, thanks very much. Well, certainly he has been banged up, and we highlighted that in the open. It's happened so many times to him, the way he plays the game, kind of a reckless abandon, running into walls and everything else. And certainly good news today that the MRI showing no structural damage for him, and that hopefully return for the Red Sox on Thursday night. Different team without Johnny Damon leading off every day, that's for sure.
Well, the fear, obviously, when he was sent back for the MRI, that they'd find some kind of tear in the rotator cuff or something like that, which would have been obviously a major problem for him. The good news is the MRI came back well, and whatever time it takes, it takes. But the key is, if it's more than 2 days, so what? You got to get him back healthy and get him back where he plays the majority of the season and into the postseason.
That seemed like the biggest thing that at least gave you a sign to worry was the fact that he had the cortisone shot on Friday night, and that did not help. I mean, you don't see that very often unless it's something that's pretty serious.
Now, usually you get some relief from that shot.
On the ground left side, Russ Adams to the backhand. And he throws out Kapler for the first out here of the third inning.
Sox fans, you can support another group of all-stars, the Walk Far for NAR New England Team Walkers. To date, this dedicated group has raised more than $4 million for autism research. Join them at one of 4 walk locations: Westfield, Mass., Brighton, Mass., Providence, Rhode Island, or Manchester, New Hampshire, and hit a home run for NAR. To learn more, call 888-627-NAR or log on to autismwalk.org.
One down here in the third for Tony Graffinino. Grounds one by the mound, but Adams is there at shortstop. And there's 2 down in the inning. Fourth ground ball out for Scott Downs through 2 2/3.
The shortstop,
A total of 49 pitches through 2 2/3 innings. And here's Edgar Renteria. Edgar flying out to left field his first time up. This season has enjoyed his time against left-handed pitchers, hitting at .338 off lefties. Just .258 off right-handed pitchers. And 4 of his 7 home runs off lefties. On the ground hard, picked at third by Koski, who's in tight, and he throws out Renteria. 3 ground ball outs. Red Sox down in order. 5-0 Toronto. Vernon Wells leading it off for the Blue Jays. Rounded out to third base. First time up. That's one high in the air to deep left center field. Kapler coming over. Back goes Manning. And Ramirez will make the catch with Kapler in behind him for the first out.
With CBS Pharmacy, you can expect something extra when a Red Sox home game goes extra innings and the Sox bullpen records a save. CBS will donate $500 to Children's Hospital Boston.
Well, just another beautiful day today in Toronto. 84 degrees to begin the ball game tonight here at Rogers Center, with the roof open again tonight.
And it's been unseasonably warm here in Toronto these last couple of days, but very, very pleasant.
Koski grounds one to Graffinino. There's two down. It's time now for a Sports Desk update. Let's go to the studio.
Don, our coverage of training camp continues as we're on location at the Garden. The Bees had their first full practice, and rumors are swirling that Lord Byron Defoe could be making a return engagement to Boston. We'll have that story and more tonight on Sports Desk. Now back to you.
All right, Paul, thanks very much. Two outs here in the bottom of the third inning, and it's a 5-0 Toronto lead. Shea Hillenbrand, who hit a line drive double back in the second inning, came around to score the second Blue Jays run. Much better inning so far for Matt Clement. And last inning looks more along the lines of the way he did in the first when he retired the Blue Jays. 1, 2, 3 on 12 pitches. And a walk, a double, another double, single, and a 2-run home run. And the Blue Jays got to him for 5 runs.
Good snap on that breaking ball on that slider from Clement. Maybe the best one he's thrown so far in this game. He threw a couple to Hinsky to strike him out, but an excellent one there against Hillenbrand. You can try that again and even more off the plate. He might chase.
This one bounced in. And it's 2-2 to Hillenbrand. Yeah, we know one thing about Shea Hillenbrand. He will chase. Very aggressive hitter. Will not walk very much at all. And he's had a very good season here for the Toronto Blue Jays in his first year with the Jays. Turning to the American League. Swing and a miss, and he struck him out. Second strikeout for Clement. Down in order go the Jays, but Toronto on top 5-0.
The Bruins are back, and individual game tickets are on sale now. Plus, training camp is open to the public at the TD Bank North Garden through Thursday. More information, call 617-624-BEAR or log on to bostonbruins.com. I don't think so. I appreciate the endorsement, but I've made enough outs in my life.
You're ready to go. You're in terrific shape.
Yeah, I'm in great shape.
Saw you today floating in the pool.
Yeah.
5-0 the Toronto Blue Jays on top as we head to the top of the fourth inning. Ortiz walked back in the first inning. He leads it off here in the top of the fourth. Ortiz, Ramirez, and Varitek face Scott Downs, who with the first 3 innings has allowed just 1 hit. Kevin Youkilis with a double. Hinsky ranging, flips to the covering pitcher Scott Downs for the first out of the inning. Time now for the Aflac trivia question. And our question tonight: which 2 Red Sox have hit 3 home runs in a game against the Blue Jays? The answer for you in the next half inning. I'll tell you this, that neither of those Red Sox did it here at Sky Dome, or what is now known as Rogers Center. Not that that helps you a great deal, but it's not recent. One down for Manny. Pops it up foul off to the right. Greg Zahn gives it a look, but it's back into the seats. And grounding out to third base his first time up. It in the air to center field. Vernon Wells takes care of out number 2.
Well, so far Downs is making this look very easy, throwing strikes, mixing up his pitches, working the corners, and not even a threat for the Red Sox, with the exception of the 2-out double by Youkilis back in the second inning.
Prior to this season, the most appearances in the majors as far as starts go, made 18 for the Chicago Cubs, and that was his first year in the majors back in 2000. Also recorded the most wins that he has in any season in the majors. Was 4-3. Pitched in 94 innings for the Cubs. So fouled off by Veritek. Red Sox baseball on NESN is brought to you by New England Ford Dealers, by Olympia Sports, the official sporting goods retailer of the New England Sports Network, and by New England Jeep Dealers. Veritek pops one up. Back goes the first baseman, Eric Kinski, into foul ground. And it's a 1-2-3 fourth inning for Scott Downs on just 6 pitches. 5-0 Blue Jays. Answer to our Aflac trivia question. Our question tonight, which 2 Red Sox have hit 3 home runs in a game against the Blue Jays? The answer, Jim Rice and Tom Brunansky. Jim Rice did it August 29th of 1983. He's in Toronto, but not here. Old Exhibition Stadium. And Tom Brunansky did it at home at Fenway Park on September 29th of 1990. 5-0 Blue Jays on top as we head to the home half of the 4th inning. Kinski, Greg Zahn, and Aaron Hill to bat. 6, 7, and 8 for the Toronto Blue Jays. Kinski struck out swinging his first time up. Toronto scoring 5 times in the bottom of the 2nd inning. The big blast 2-run shot from Gabe Gross. 5 in a row now retired by Matt Clement. So 50 pitches as he works here in the 4th inning. Check swing foul. It hangs at 1-2. Time out over 6 2/3 innings. He threw 103 pitches in his loss to the Angels. Prior to that, 3 straight wins: Baltimore, Kansas City, and Tampa Bay. On the ground right side, Graffinino's got it. 1 away in the bottom of the 4th.
Go to RedSox.com and get your own piece of history. A limited supply of Fenway Championship sod from the 2004 season is now available. Actual grass from the field used during the 2004 championship season, ready to be replanted in your yard. Log on to RedSox.com for all the details and purchase a piece of history today.
One down for Greg Zahn. Zahn doubled in the 2nd inning to drive in 2 runs. Now has 55 RBIs on the season. Well-traveled catcher. On the ground this time to Youkilis at first base, takes it himself. And there's 2 down. 7 in a row retired now by Matt Clement.
Suppose you live in an apartment and you don't have like a yard to replant that sod. You could probably maintain that in the apartment, couldn't you?
Absolutely, yeah. He's got to water it, make sure that it stays alive, keep it near a window, get some sunshine.
Yeah, you don't really have to have a yard to buy a piece of that sod.
You have a balcony or a deck or anything, get some sun. No, you're restricting it, I think, by saying that.
Yeah, I think we should change that promo, to be honest with you. I mean, you don't have to just replant it in your yard. You could if you have a yard, but not everybody has a yard.
Do whatever you want with it. It's your side. Aaron Hill, the batter, singled to drive in a run his first time up. Fielder Gabe Kapler stepper 2 towards right center. And he over towards the line and left. Pretty healthy gap out there in left center field for Aaron Hill.
He could actually trim it up and use it for a rug.
On your head?
Instead of a hairpiece.
Oh, okay. I thought you meant like on the floor.
No.
Like it's not going to last too long. Yeah, it might make a nice lid.
Number 18,
mode every now and then.
You keep it trimmed while you keep it watered. They probably be like insects and stuff.
I get sprayed for that.
Gabe Gross, the batter, hit a 2-run shot his first time up. First home run of the season for him. And the first home run since September 18th of last year for Gabe Gross. He spent the majority of this season at AAA with the Syracuse Sky Chiefs. Last year with 3 home runs in his first season in the major leagues.
Yeah, all 4 home runs that he has hit the big league level, all 4 have been off right-handed pitches. And of course, the most recent tonight, the 2-run home run against Matt Clement.
Last year played in 44 games with the Blue Jays, his first experience in the majors. A first-round pick by the Blue Jays, 15th overall back in 2001.
Every run of the Red Sox route on NESN, you have a chance to win a LoJack stolen vehicle recovery system. Log on to NESN.com, enter the date, opponent, and runner's name for your chance to win in the LoJack caught stealing sweepstakes.
Hill widens the lead over first base, held on by Euclid. Rose hits it in the air to center field. Gabe Kapler has it sized up. And the Blue Jays are gone in the 4th, but at the end of 4, Toronto on top 5-0.
Want to wait?
All right, we heading out to the top of the 5th inning. Apparently some audio trouble down below as Eric Fried couldn't hear us there, so we head to the 5th inning. 5-0 Toronto. Millar leads it off. Millar grounded out to third base. First time up back in the 2nd inning. Red Sox have just 1 hit through the first 4. Ortiz walked in the 1st inning. He was the first Red Sox base runner. Then Euclid with a double in the 2nd, and that has been it. 7 in a row now retired by Scott Downs. It's 2-2 now to Millar. Well, overall, you take a look at Toronto's pitching. It has not been that bad. They are 6th, 4.05 earned run average coming in. Red Sox 11th as this one is drilled down the left field line in for a hit. Headed towards the corner. Millar is headed towards second. And he's got himself a double. It's the 2nd Red Sox hit of the night and the first time tonight. Red Sox have had a lead runner on.
Yeah, the other double came with 2 outs in the 2nd inning. Kevin Euclid. Now Millar with the double on the fastball. Hits it with topspin and right quickly down that left field line. Hey, you're right, Don. You know, you looked at the numbers for the Blue Jays, and surprisingly, I was surprised that their numbers were so high as far as in the rankings with the pitching. They've had some problems with Batista, their closer, especially in the 2nd half. But overall, you know, you take him out of the mix, too. Halladay, with his physical problems, that's pretty impressive.
Halladay will be out the rest of the season here for the Blue Jays. The bullpen's been pretty good. You're right about Batista, though. He has been extremely shaky as the closer for Toronto. And one of the reports in the paper today had some unkind words from Greg Zahn, their catcher.
Yeah, he took him to task a little bit. which is a little bit unusual to do it publicly in the papers. But basically what Zahn was saying, he doesn't throw enough strikes right now as a closer. He's trying to pick his spots and get behind hitters.
And usually you would do that in the media, though. I mean, you would think that would be an in-house type situation. And Zahn sort of making his feelings be known on a public basis. Sounds like they're certainly not on the same page as to what he should throw in different instances, and that may be some of the frustration that Zahn feels. But it has not been perfect this year for Batista. At second base, Youkilis waiting on the 2-1 pitch from down. Up and away, and down, falling behind. Lars double extends his hitting streak. Now has hit safely in 12 straight games. You see doubles to begin things here in the 5th. 3-1 to Kevin Youkilis. In the air to shallow right. In comes Gabe Gross for the first out here in the top half of the 5th inning. Let's go back to Eric Fried and try it again. Eric?
Don, the technical difficulties are all squared away. Thanks for waiting. All right, Jonathan Papelbon, you talked about it at the top of the telecast, how good he did, how well he pitched. The most impressive thing to everybody, including Jonathan, is that he's been doing this in the heat of a pennant race. Here is the rookie.
I have high expectations of myself, and I set my goals high, and I think if I set my goals high, even if you don't reach your goals, that, even if you fall short, you're still accomplishing something, for me, I just want to prove myself and show my teammate and my coaches that, hey, I'm here to win another World Series, and there's no doubt in my mind that we can. And, if we keep chugging along and keep throwing the ball well and playing defense, I think we have a great chance.
Rookie speaks like he's been part of this team for a long time. He hasn't been part of this team for a long time, but it looks like he's going to be a key cog down the stretch, guys.
All right, Eric, thanks very much. Bill Miller, the batter, with 1 down and Millard second base. Jerry, you were very impressed with the outing last night for Papelbon, and really all the outings for Papelbon.
I am, and Don, I like to stay away from getting too high on young guys too soon, and I generally like to see him a lot more than what we've seen of Papelbon. But it's clear to watch him from the first time we saw him. He's got good stuff. I mean, he's got a good live fastball, and I've made the comparison to Roger Clemens. And by no means do I mean that he's going to have that kind of career. We don't know that. I mean, nobody knows that. But he certainly reminds me an awful lot of him when Roger first came to the big leagues. Roger's fastball might have been a little bit better. This guy's control is just as good, and his split at this point is more advanced than Roger's was when he came to the big leagues.
That's amazing considering he learned it in spring training. I mean, it's not like he's been throwing the splitter his entire minor league career. I mean, this is a thing that he picked up, of course, as we mentioned, from Kurt Schilling during the spring, and it's been outstanding for him.
Now, one thing we have not seen a lot of is his breaking ball. And matter of fact, I ran to a guy at the hotel today who watched him pitch all year at Portland. He said, you haven't seen the breaking ball. He's got a good one. I said, well, I agree. We have not seen much of that. He's a young guy coming up. He's going with his 2 best pitches. But this is a guy that goes to almost every game at Portland. And he told me he's also got a good breaking ball. So, he's my scout.
Bill Miller flied to right his first time up. Shoots it foul, and a full count here to Bill Miller.
You can't predict things with anybody, but there are certain things that you see in young players that stand out, and he stands out for a lot of different reasons. Very casual tonight, yes, though, with knowing he has the night off.
Very relaxed. I think he needs a remote to be all set. Miller lines it into left field, a base hit. Wire will stop at third base on the single to left field for Bill Miller. And it is the 3rd hit of the night for the Red Sox. First and 3rd now with 1 down.
Of course, Millar had to freeze at second base with this ball being a line drive by Bill Miller. You don't want to be doubled up down by 5 runs, and Plus, once he realizes he gets by, he has to just cruise into third base and hold there. No chance of scoring.
At the corners with one out for Gabe Kapler. Grounded out to shortstop's first time up. Towards third base. A run will score and everybody's going to be safe. Villar scores from third base. The Red Sox get on the board. As Downs sort of redirected it towards third base, and it's a hit for Kapler and an RBI.
Well, you know, it's just a natural reaction by a pitcher to try to make that play. But if he lets that ball go, it's a inning-ending double play because Adams is heading toward that bag, and he would have easily stepped on second and turned a double play. Instead, by Downs trying to make it, he just deflects it away, and they can make no play. But, you know, it's hard to blame a pitcher for that because that's just a normal reaction. Try to make the play on the ball hit back to you.
So first and second now with one down. Kapler picks up his 9th RBI in Red Sox uniform. There's Tony Graffinino, is 0 for 2 tonight. Graffinino 1 for 8 so far in the series. Struck out looking in the first inning, grounded out to shortstop in the third inning. Graffinino hitting in .354. Runners in scoring position. So he's got Bill Miller at second base, Gabe Kapler at first.
Red Sox have to do some damage here. They got him out of his groove. You know, he's in a great groove for those first 4 innings, and now 3 hits in this inning. And of course, that'll bring a meeting from the pitching coach.
Let's go to Tom Caron for an update. Tom.
The news is not good from St. Pete, Don. The Yanks erupting at Tampa Bay. They put up 5 in the first, 5 more in the second. Hideki Matsui there with a 2-run double off the Juan Brazelton. 10-2 in the top of the third. Yankees leading. Key-Rays already on their 3rd pitcher of the night. Guys?
All right, TC, thanks very much. As we look at the AL East picture, the Yankees beginning the night 3.5 games back of the Red Sox. They begin their series against Tampa Bay. And the Red Sox trailing here tonight right now, down 5-1. The Red Sox getting a run back here in the 5th so far. Brad Ironsburg, the pitching coach, has gone to the mound to talk to Scott Downs. And through the first 4 innings, it allowed just 1 hit. He's given up 3 hits and a run here in the 5th. Miller at second base, Kapler at first, 1 down. The 2-0. Graffinino is hit on the ground to third base. Koski to second for 1. On to first, the double play that ends the inning. Red Sox do get a run halfway through this one, 5-1 Toronto. Five to 1, the Blue Jays on top as we head to the last half of the 5th inning. Clement back on the mound has allowed 4 hits so far, but more importantly 5 runs. All the runs coming for the Blue Jays in the 2nd inning. Russ Adams, the top of the Blue Jays order, leading it off, is grounded out twice. Both times to the right side. Red Sox infield, once to second, once to first. The inning that Clement has had problems in is the 2nd. So a total of 64 pitches as he begins things here in the bottom of the 5th. Bottom of the order has been the problem here tonight. It goes for the 2-run shot. Greg Zahn, the 2-run double. 7 and 9 batters in the Blue Jays order. Four batters, a collective 0 for 9. As Adams takes a pitch in the dirt. Catalanato waiting on deck. Fouled off to the left. Still 2-2. Adams, 24 years old. Another one of these first-round draft choices for the Toronto Blue Jays. They get a bunch on this team. The second season with the Blue Jays. In the air to right field. Back goes Millar and over. And Kevin's there to make the catch for the first out.
On Wednesday is the first annual Say It With Flowers luncheon hosted by Shonda Schilling and Dawn Timlin at the Sheraton Boston. There'll be a wine reception, hands-on flowering arranging, a silent auction, and much more. Proceeds from the luncheon will benefit research and patient services for those affected by ALS. Log on to sayitwithflowersmass.org to reserve your tickets today.
Frank Catalanato bats with one down. Catalanato has popped out to second base and fly to the warning track in left. 30-year-old from Smithtown, New York. Catalanato in the big leagues first with the Detroit Tigers. Originally a Tigers 10th round pick back in 1992. And 3 seasons with the Texas Rangers, and now in his 3rd season as a member of the Toronto Blue Jays. First year here in Toronto was definitely his best. He hit 34 home runs in his first season in a Blue Jays uniform.
I didn't realize that. 34 home runs?
No, I didn't. It's a complete lie, as it turns out.
Oh.
He had 34 doubles this first season. The question was I going to correct it once I found it? This is line into left center field. They're in for a hit. Catalanato's thinking too. The throw to second base. Close, but not in time. Catalanato's got himself a double with one down.
That's a hustle double, too, by Catalanato. He's going hard right out of the box. And that ball toward the gap. Manny made a pretty good play getting there. Got rid of the ball quickly back in. Just good hustle by Catalanato to pick up the double. Fastball away, and you can see right now he's thinking about 2 right out of the batter's box. Cuts first base nicely. And into second base as Graffinino has to kind of reach toward the pitcher's mound side to get that ball, swipe around, and not quite in time.
Well, one down, Catalanato at second base, and here's Vernon Wells. Yeah, he had 34 doubles back in 2003. That year he did have a career high in home runs, but it was 13. The far cry from the 34
surprised me a little bit.
Yeah, 13 homers, 59 RBIs was his best season back in 2003 with the Blue Jays. Has only 5 home runs this season. Vernon Wells fouls it off back into the seats. 61 career home runs for Catalanato. Grounded out to third base and fly to left. Well, Frank Catalanato did something that you did, if I'm not mistaken. Catalanato, first Blue Jays player in franchise history to have 6 hits in a game. Did that back on May 1st against the Chicago White Sox. You had 6 hits, right?
I think so, yeah. I think against Seattle. It was an extra inning game. I forget how many innings, but it was a long game. Matter of fact, it went 2 days. It reached curfew the night before, and then we had to finish it the next day.
Yeah, you're 6 for 10, I'm told. Adam Jupiter tells me.
That's not that great a day, you know. Well, I guess it's all right.
600.
10, yeah. Had a few bloops involved there too.
For Vernon Wells, and it's 2-2. Fastball
up and in on Vernon Wells. It looked like more of a self-defense swing right there. He knew about as soon as he started that swing, he had no chance.
Two and two to Wells. Catalanato at second base, one down. Inside, a full count now. And has walked 2 in the ballgame tonight. He has struck out 2.
Actually, Nomar tied that record with a 6-hit game in Philadelphia.
Phillies, yep.
It was on a Saturday afternoon, a nationally televised game.
The game that you did not do, right?
I scored it, though. I was hoping he'd make it out, too.
That's nice. Truth be told, as Vernon Wells swings and misses and strikes. Come on, Nomar. Ground out.
Only kidding. I'm just glad he didn't get the 7. Slider this time picks up the strikeout against Vernon Wells. Had a good one tonight. The problem in that 1 inning, the second, just that he elevated a lot of pitches, and that's when he got hurt.
Yeah, that's not the worst thing in the world to share a record along Nomar Garciaparra.
You just don't want to lose it.
That's true.
Because they wipe you right out of the book.
Gonzo.
At least you hang in the book with Nomar with the 6. He goes 7, you're out like you never existed.
So you mean all those guys that they bring back to stadiums when records are broken? They don't look as happy as they, they offer and off.
That's all a bunch of baloney. They don't want to be there at all.
So next time you see Jerry Remy brought back to Fenway Park after somebody else comes up with 6 hits or 7 hits for the award.
I think there's another one, 4 stolen bases in the game.
Do you share that with anybody else, or you alone?
I don't think so.
Still have great speed today.
Getting out of the ballpark.
What's going on with the pool situation now? Why are we in the pool all of a sudden? We never really spent that much time there. Now
my back's been a little tender, so I just go in there and try to stretch. It's water resistant, and you can stretch a little bit better. So it's been good too. It's helped.
1-2 the count to Corey Koskie, the runner at second, in the dirt, corralled by Veritek. No advance for Catalanato. Three strikeouts in the game tonight. On the ground up the middle and to center field. Catalanato being waved around. No throw, and in is run number 6 for the Toronto Blue Jays. Gets away. And Koskie, as a result, advances up to second base. Toronto on top, 6-1.
Corey Koskie right underneath the glove of Matt Clement. Now at second base, the throw's going to come back in a second. It's going to get by Renteria. He lets it get by him. Now he decides to chase it down, and there's nobody there, so Koskie moves in a scoring position. A little bit of sloppiness at the end of that play for the Red Sox to allow another man to get in the scoring position.
Your charge to Renteria, he is 26th. Allowing Koskie to get to second base. He's there with 2 down. Here's Shea Hillenbrand. Hillenbrand with a double in the second inning. Struck out swinging in the third. Renteria's got it. That'll end the inning. The Blue Jays get another run. We played 5. Toronto on top, 6-1.
Tune in NESN this Sunday, September 18th, for a unique viewing experience. Wait till this year, an independent feature film produced by NESN and Swansoon Pictures. The film follows the historic 2004 season through the eyes of Monica and her husband. She loves her team and her husband, but not necessarily in that order. Wait till this year, presented by Sam Adams, premiering Sunday night after Red Sox postgame coverage.
Top half of the 6th inning, Edgar Renteria leading it off for the Red Sox. Sent David Ortiz and Manny Ramirez to face Scott Downs. Pitch in there for a strike. The pitching line is brought to you by Nissan. 5 innings so far for Downs. Giving up just the 1 run, an RBI for Gabe Kapler on an infield hit that scored Millar. Walk and 2 strikeouts for Downs. Last time out, 4 1/3 innings, giving up 7 hits and 3 runs in a no decision against the Baltimore Orioles. And the Blue Jays won 7-4. His last win came against the Cleveland Indians on August 27th, a 2-1 win in which he went 6 innings, giving up 3 hits and no runs. 99 pitches. A good job out of the bullpen. Opponents are hitting at .237 against him, placed into the starting rotation. Opponents, since he's been in the rotation, hitting at .255. Renteria gets a piece to stay alive. 1-2. The last 5 starts, 2-1 with a 2.67 earned run average. 37 innings pitched, 11 earned runs coming into tonight. He's given up just the 1 run over the first 5 innings tonight. On the ground to third base, Corey Koski. The throw that gets there in time to retire Renteria. Check back in with Eric Freed. Eric.
Thank you very much, Don. Joined now by one of the world's greatest hockey players. I can say that because Angelo Ruggiero is an Olympic gold medalist, a world champion, and the pride of Harvard, class of 2004. And here in Toronto, you're thinking Olympics in Italy coming up pretty soon, though, right?
Yep. Right now we're with Team USA on our Hilton Family Skate to 2006 tour. I have a little break right now, so I thought I'd come and watch the Red Sox and help out Right to Play.
All right, Right to Play is a group based here in Toronto that Angelo's gotten very involved with. Tell us a little bit about what this organization's been doing.
Well, it's a non-profit, non-governmental organization. They use sport and play to reach over 20 countries, over 500,000 children across the world, and they use sport and play to help sport for development, which means they go into these communities, give them sports, give them recreation, and it really helps facilitate their psycho, their social, their physical well-being.
And you take a red soccer ball just like this on the road with you, and you've already been to Uganda, so you've already been an active participant in what this group's doing.
Yeah, I was lucky enough to spend last summer. I spent a little over 4 weeks going. Home run there. A little over 4 weeks and
hang on one second.
Big Poppy.
Angela was at game 3 against the Angels last year, so she's seen Big Poppy. She may be the good luck charm getting it done. Don, up to you.
41st home run of the season for David Ortiz as he hits it out towards right center field, and Red Sox pick up their 2nd run of the night. It's now 6-2 Toronto.
I'm not sure what A-Rod has done in the game, but that will tie him with Rodriguez with 41 now, and also put him in the lead in RBI with 127, a breaking ball that Ortiz crushed. It's the same guy that tried to bunt a couple of times back in the 1st inning. Straight away center field for the home run.
He has indeed tied Alex Rodriguez, who is not homered tonight. And Ortiz ties a career high for himself done last season. 41 home runs last year, 31 home runs in his first year. Red Sox uniform back in 2003, but 41 last year, and he's tied that.
That's the 10th he has hit this year off left-handed pitching.
Unfortunately for the Red Sox, nobody on when he hit it. The solo shot for Ortiz. Red Sox trailing by 4 runs as Manny takes a pitch for a ball. 2-1. Ramirez is grounded out to third base and flied out to center field. Side 3-1 now to Manning. Pete Walker up in the bullpen now for the Blue Jays.
What a workhorse. He was in the game last night.
He fouls it off. Full count now. Hit for an RBI for Kapler. The home run by Ortiz. Blue Jays scoring 5 times in the second, adding a run in the bottom of the 5th. The 6-2 lead. And he sends it up the middle and into center field. Now single for Manny Ramirez. Let's check back in with Eric Freed. Eric?
I just want to finish up with Angela Ruggiero. WriteThePlay.com. You've already been to Uganda, taking things all around the world, but you'll be taking your act to Italy pretty soon for the 2006 Olympics.
Yep. Team USA will compete hopefully in February and compete for another gold medal. We won one in '98. I was lucky enough to be the youngest member there, and hopefully we can do it again and bring one home for USA.
All right, and Angela has a book coming out, Breaking the Ice, about your Harvard days and everything else. But as I mentioned, Big Papi hit that home run against the Angels. You were there. You're from Michigan, but you turned into a huge Sox fan during your days at Harvard.
I love the Sox. I mean, I lived a mile up the street from them this past year in Brookline, and you know they're part of the community. So yeah, I was lucky. I got to write about Right to Play in my book, and my experiences with Harvard and Team USA, and just all the luck that I've been given.
All right, good luck with everything with Right to Play, and good luck trying to win a gold medal at the Olympics, Angela. Thanks very much.
Thanks a lot.
Angela Ruggiero with us here in Toronto. When we come back, we'll tell you about the new Toronto pitcher as a Sox bat here.
With Tom Caron and Gary DeSaucina. Sox Senior Vice President General Manager Theo Epstein will make his weekly visit, plus the Inside His Sox segment features shortstop Edgar Renteria. And in this week's edition of The World According to Mike Myers, the Sox lefty takes us on a tour of Fenway Park. It's all tomorrow night at 6 with TC and Gary.
Veritek showing bunt, gets away from Zahn, and up to second base goes Manny Ramirez.
Well, of course, Pete Walker in the ballgame last night when he picked up his 5th loss of the season, giving up the home run to David Ortiz in the 11th inning. That's the first home run they had given up since back in July 5th against Oakland.
Veritek 0 for 2 tonight. He was struck out looking and fouled out to first base. Sox have come back twice from 5-run deficits this season. August the 4th and August the 30th. They had a 5-run deficit tonight, down 5-0. Chipped away, getting 2 runs. There's at second. Veritek takes a strike, walks away, shaking his head.
Seemed like a quick hook, didn't it?
It did. Yeah.
The downs. I mean, you're facing Ortiz Ramirez to get the home run and base hit, which happens to obviously a lot of pitchers around baseball, but he had been pretty much in control of this ball game. Did have 1 out in the inning.
Just the 1 hit through the first 4 innings. On the ground and through into right field, a base hit for Veritek. Ramirez stopped at third base. And it's a good thing as Veritek at first base. Red Sox have runners at the corners with 1 down.
Looked like an off-speed pitch, maybe a changeup from Walker. Veritek getting it by Aaron Hill. And Dale Swaim having to hold Ramirez down at third base. Nice hitting there by Veritek. That ball was heading down and away. He's able to cover the plate and hook it past Hill. And Manny, as he gets to third base, Gabe Gross has the baseball.
Ramirez at third, Veritek at first. Here's Millar. Millar grounded out to third base in the second inning, doubled and scored in the 5th. Sox with 7 hits. Top 2 hitters in the Red Sox order, Graffinino and Renteria, have been held hitless. They are a collective 0 for 6. 3-hitter on down, each with 1 hit. It's been spread around pretty well tonight by the Red Sox. Millar fouls it off, and it's 2-1. Down, still responsible for Manny Ramirez, who's at third base. He works 5 1/3 innings, giving up 6 hits. So far, just the 2 runs. He walked 1 and struck out 2. Roll foul outside of third base. Red Sox baseball on NESN is brought to you by your New England Toyota dealers. By Sovereign Bank, the official bank of the Red Sox cable network. And by your Boston area Lexus dealers. Two and two, the count to Kevin Millar. Second batter that Pete Walker has faced since coming into the game. In the center field, Vernon Wells headed back. Makes the catch as Ramirez tags and scores the 3rd Boston run. It's 6-3 now, Toronto. Red Sox have grabbed 2 runs so far here in the top half of the 6th.
Well, Red Sox back in the game now with the couple more runs in this inning. Manning accepting congratulations from his teammate, as Millar is. Millar picking up his 50th run batted into the season with the sacrifice fly.
That closes the book on Downs, as he went 5 1/3, giving up 3 runs. Walker responsible for Varitek at first, as Kevin Youkilis takes ball 1. Youkilis a double in the 2nd inning. Flied out to right field in the 5th. Youkilis getting the start at first base tonight for the Red Sox. Millar moving to right field, and Olerud starts tonight on the Red Sox bench. Action in the Toronto bullpen. Justin Spire. Well, using a lot of their bullpen last night. John Gibbons saying before the ball game that everybody was available once again tonight. There for a strike, 3-1. On deck, Bill Miller. 2 outs here in the 6th inning. 2 runs in for Boston. Nicholas now the full count. He had been ahead 3-0. Walker battling his way back to a full count.
After the 3-0 fastball, looks like it's back to the slider for Walker.
Tips into the catcher's mitts. Zahn holds on to the inning edge. Red Sox come up with a pair at 6-3 Toronto after 5.5. Last half of the 6th inning, Toronto on top 6-3. And it's Eric Hinsky, Greg Zahn, and Aaron Hill to face Matt Clement. Red Sox getting 2 runs back in the top half of this inning. Hinsky's 0 for 2 tonight. He struck out swinging in the 2nd inning. Grounded out to second base in the 4th. Well, Jerry, they're announcing a larger crowd here tonight than was here last night. 25,253. It looks smaller to me, but 25,253.
10,000 of those are right in the booth next to us.
Yes.
And out of those 10,000, I think 2 are actually watching the game.
Gentleman from the Boston area, I believe, is one of those guys.
Yeah, Hyde Park, I believe. I think it's this fella right here. He's been writing notes to us between innings, but I think he's the only one paying attention to the game.
That's about it.
He's into it. He's got the ice cream going. I guess the guy below him's watching too. Other than that, there's not a lot of baseball fans up in that luxury box.
Toronto Film Festival going on here in Toronto, and I think a lot of those folks are here for that.
Well, maybe there's some movie stars over there. I don't think our buddy from Hyde Park's in the movies, but
no, I don't think so. But he may know somebody that is.
Yeah.
Actually, I think there are two over there. This is in the air to left field. And Ramirez back there, plenty of room. Makes the catch for the first out here in the 6th. This game summary is brought to you by your local Lincoln Mercury dealers. A 5-run second inning for the Toronto Blue Jays, capped off on a 2-run home run by Gabe Gross, his first of the year. Red Sox with some frustration as Tony Graffinino grounds into an inning-ending double play. And the Red Sox with some power again tonight. David Ortiz hitting his 41st home run of the season. Tie Alex Rodriguez for the league lead and tie his career high from last year. It is a 6-3 Toronto lead here in the bottom of the 6th inning, 1 down. And Greg Zahn taking a pitch outside for a ball. Isn't he somebody, Jared? You're right there.
Who?
Guy standing right there.
There's about 7 guys.
No. Try to think of his name.
The guy with the striped shirt on?
Yeah, on the other side of the striped shirt. Yeah. No?
Yeah, he looks like somebody.
I think it's David Arquette. This is outside. Yeah.
This guy here?
Yeah. Oh, where are you? The guy on the left.
This guy.
Yeah, that's him.
That's Arquette.
Yep. See, I knew it. There's more in there too.
And what does he do?
He's an actor.
He's the guy that's married to Courtney Cox?
Yes.
Is she there?
She is not there. No, well, actually, we don't know. We haven't seen her yet. We just found him. Fouled off to the left, backing out of play.
Yeah, buddy from Hyde Park. He doesn't look. He's got his look. He's got his ice cream up.
We could care less about David Arquette, I think.
You got all kind of celebrities over there. What are you doing? Got a big star right behind him, and
care less. Zahn foul tips into the catcher's mitt, held on to by Jason Varitek. 4th K for Matt Clement, 2 down in the 6th inning.
Clement has to shut him down here in the 6th. Red Sox got a little momentum going last inning to get a couple and get back in the game. The fastball away. Foul tipped into the glove of Jason Varitek. So a nice 1-2-3 inning would be just what the doctor ordered here for Matt Clement.
2 down for Aaron Hill. Was singled to center field and walked tonight. He's been on twice. Came around to score the 4th Toronto run in the 2nd inning. Takes the strike, and it's 1-1. We'll look back at home plate umpire Rob Drake. Final game of the series here tomorrow night. Final game of the road trip for the Red Sox. David Wells on the mound against Josh Towers. After 3 lefties in a row, the Red Sox will face a right-hander. Nicholas on the move, but that'll get back into the seats.
3 lefties, obviously all different styles. The overpowering Randy Johnson on Sunday. Lilly last night, who gives the Red Sox problems. Generally has a good curveball. Didn't really have it last night. And very much a finesse pitcher tonight in Downs.
100th pitch of the night coming here for Matt Clement. Five runs in the second inning. Allowed a single run in the fifth inning. The 2-2 to Aaron Hill. To right field down the line. Over goes Millar towards the line. And he makes the running catch and ends the inning. They played 6 full from Toronto. The Blue Jays on top 6-3.
He has not allowed a run. An inning last night against Boston, a walk and a strikeout.
Bill Miller leads it off. Then Gabe Kapler and Tony Graffinino expected in the inning. Bill Miller is fly to right and single to left field. 1 for 2 tonight. It off to the left, a ball and 2 strikes.
Don, as you know, we gave away some tickets to the Oakland game on the 18th with a Rem report, as we've been giving away all season. John Thompson of Bellingham, Mass. has won 2 tickets. And Ann Blake of, I don't know where this is, Baldwinville, Mass. was the other winner. And I don't really know where Baldwinville is.
I don't either.
But she received the 2 other free tickets, so those 4 folks will be going to the game on the 18th against Oakland. Enjoy the game.
Should be a very good game. Oakland playing the Cleveland Indians. The A's able to win last night. Hits it hard on 1 hop to the backhand. Hill's got it. And he throws out Bill Miller for the first out. Timeout for a Sports Desk update. Let's go to the studio.
Don, it'll be showdown Saturday at the Heights as Boston College takes on Florida State. The Eagles will be making their debut in the ACC, facing a team that has owned the conference over the last 13 years. We'll preview the game tonight on Sports Desk. Now back to you.
Thanks very much, Paul. Back here at the Rogers Center, it's 6-3. Toronto Blue Jays on top. It's Gabe Kapler bats for the 3rd time tonight.
By the way, you'll be happy to know that your shirt has gone very, very well.
Really?
It has. It really has.
A lot of orders last night.
A lot of orders last night and again today. Even though you're not happy with your caricature.
Well, sadly, it's okay. It's just that it's realistic, which hurts when you look at it. He did a very good job. Keith Folk up in the Red Sox bullpen came into last night's game. And kind of a strange spot. I think you thought so as well last night, coming into a game with the bases loaded, nobody out, and a tough spot for him as he still tries to settle back in. This is to left center field, in for a hit. Graffinino aboard with 2 down with his first hit of the night.
I did, Don. I really thought, you know, it was, you know, even in a closer role, which he's accustomed to, very seldom would he ever come in, you know, almost never with the bases loaded. Usually start an inning off fresh. But Terry Francona has said today in his meeting that he was very encouraged by his performance last night. And the question was asked, would you put him in back-to-back games? Well, here's your answer, as he is warming up right now.
Yeah, that's perhaps where he's most comfortable. I mean, we saw that, and I think a little surprised by that last year as he settled in with the Red Sox, how much he was used, and it seemed like he got better in each outing every time he was. He was a guy that could go out there for more than 1 inning, which made him different in a lot of ways from some other closers, and pitched in a lot of non-save type situations last year. On the ground, shortstop Adams, the throw across the body, and then time to get his counterpart, Edgar Renteria, to end the inning. 7th inning stretch, Toronto on top 6-3.
Stay tuned after the game for WB Mason's Extra Innings and Granite City Electric's Extra Innings Extra. Tonight, Tom Caron and Gary DeSauciano will bring you Matt Clement's post-game reaction. Plus, we'll have highlights from the Yankees and Devil Rays game in St. Pete. And a preview of tomorrow's series finale. David Wells and Josh Towers will be on the mound. So join TC and Gary right after the game.
6-3, the Toronto Blue Jays on top as we head here to the last half of the 7th inning, and Keith Foulke on the mound.
Last night, 2/3 of an inning, a hit, a run, and a strikeout for Foulke, this being his 42nd appearance of the year.
Clement, 6 innings tonight for the Red Sox, 6 hits, 6 runs, including the 2-run home run by Gabe Gross. 101 pitches, a 5-run second inning for the Toronto Blue Jays. And Clement on the hook right now, came into tonight's action 13-4 on the season. A deep right field, it stays fair, it's gone. It is a foul ball. Fortunately for the Red Sox, as Gabe Gross making a bid for his 2nd home run tonight.
Well, the first home run was hit well. This ball was absolutely crushed, but just foul. Foulke trying to get a fastball by him inside. It was left out over the plate, and fortunately for Foulke, that ball hooks into foul territory.
There's 4 total major league home runs, never had 2 in a game, and made a bid for his 2nd home run of the season and of the game. A 2-run shot off Clement back in the 2nd inning. 3-0 at the time, Toronto on top, and his 1st home run of the season and 1st home run since September 18th of last season. Blue Jays have had 2 5-run leads, 5-0 and 6-1. Red Sox getting 2 runs in the top of the 6th, and it's 6-3. A little pop up left side. Renteria into short left. 1 down. So 1 down, back up to the top of the order for Russ Adams, who's 0 for 3. He's grounded out to second, grounded out to first, and fly to right. Center field. Kapler headed back, and Gabe gets back there to make the catch. 2 down. Bullpen's busy for the Toronto Blue Jays. Vinny Chalk, who we saw last night, and Scott Schoenweiss both in the game and up tonight.
Hey, you wonder if you'll see Schoenweiss. The first hitter of next inning is Ortiz, the left-hander. So it may be 1 and out for him. We'll have to wait and see.
2 down here in the bottom of the 7th. Frank Catalanato. He's popped out to second. Fly to the warning track in left. And last time up doubled and scored the 6th Toronto run. Ortiz has a home run tonight for the Red Sox. Last night with 2 of them. Now has 40 home runs, 41 home runs on the season, but with his 2 home runs last year, got him to 40. David has joined Carl Yastrzemski with 69 and 70. A back-to-back 40 home run season, and Ortiz just the 2nd player in Red Sox history to record consecutive 40 home run season, joining Yaz. Catalanato with 2 down. While we have a moment, let's take a look at what's on tap for the Red Sox, brought to you by Heineken. 1 more game left in the series against the Blue Jays here tomorrow night at 7 p.m. right here on NESN. And it's home for a quick 4-game homestand against Oakland. Thursday night on NESN, Friday on UPN 38 in Boston. NESN outside, and Saturday night, Sunday afternoon, right here on NESN. 2-out walk for Frank Catalanato. And Vernon Wells bats.
4-game series coming up against Oakland. Oakland with a 2-0 lead tonight against Cleveland.
was the final score in last night's game. Oakland A's able to win 2-0. Kurt Schilling will go in the first game of the series against the Oakland A's on Thursday night. He'll be matched up against Joe Blanton, who's 9-11. Wells tried to hold up, did he? Yes, he did, according to Wally Bell, first base umpire. Pitching the 7th inning. Matt Clement going the first 6 tonight, allowing 6 runs. On the ground, Renteria to the backhand. He throws to second and throws it into right field. Catalanado being waved around. He will score. As the throw comes to the plate, not in time, and to third base goes Wells. So Renteria, who already has an error tonight, fires one by the covering second baseman Graffinino. And the Toronto Blue Jays come up with another run, lead it 7-3.
Well, you could see too, as soon as he let this thing go, you knew it was going to be wild to second base. Up, Graffinino tries to jump, but it gets by him, and when it gets by him, Catalanado just pops up and he'll score all the way from second. Renteria was so frustrated, his glove ended up on the ground.
A single and an error, the second error of the night for Renteria, and his 27th. Major League leading 27th. So Wells now just 90 feet away. Koski walked in the second, grounded out to second in the third, singled to center field to drive in a run in the 5th. Tonight on top of Tampa Bay 13-2. Giambi has homered in that game and has 5 RBIs. And the Red Sox now trailing in this one 7-3. The Red Sox began the night with a 3.5 game lead over the Yankees. Hoping that the problems that the Yankees have had in the past with Tampa Bay could continue, but the Yankees off to the fast start after they had yesterday off. Took the day to travel down to Tampa Bay to begin that series tonight. He's 13 runs and 16 hits, and they're in the 6th inning. Up high, and Folk walks Koski. Second walk of the inning allowed by Folk. Up in the Red Sox bullpen as Folk gets ready to deal with Shea Hillenbrand. First and third now, with 2 outs here in the bottom of the 7th inning. Folk got the first 2 outs pretty quickly on a pop out and a fly out.
And both those outs coming on his changeup. Then of course the walk, the base hit error, and the walk again on the changeup.
This is foul down by Vernon Wells. Renteria with the 27 errors has tied a career high for himself back in 2000. As a member of the St. Louis Cardinals, he had 27 errors.
That has been disappointing. There's no question about that. That's many more errors than I think anybody anticipated from Renteria through the course of this season.
1 Gold Gloves in 2002 and 2003. The last 2 seasons had 27 combined. 27 in his first season in a Red Sox uniform, and this is into center where Hillenbrand. From third comes Wells, and it's now 8-3 Blue Jays.
Looked like Folk trying a slider that time on Hillenbrand, and Hillenbrand right back up the middle with the base hit. Then you see the breaking ball stays up in the zone, and Hillenbrand on top of it puts it on the ground and on this turf into center field very quickly. So the 2-out walk really hurt.
First and second, 2 down. Kinski 0 for 3, and he gets hit. That was off the helmet, it appeared, and let's go head on down to first base. Not pleased at all. Blue Jays lead the American League. They've been hit 78 times as looks over in his direction. Red Sox have now hit 80 batters.
Looks like it gets Hinske somewhere in the chest, maybe. Fastball inside and just underneath the arm, and of course Hinske not real happy about it. You see the reaction there from Folk telling Hinske that it was his fault, not trying to hit him intentionally. You would never see that out of a reaction out of a pitcher if he was trying to drill a guy.
Well, bases loaded with 2 down, and Zahn the batter. Mentioned that Zahn had a grand slam earlier this season against the Red Sox. Toronto has 2 grand slams on the season. Zahn's got one of them. B. Johnson has the other, and that also was against the Red Sox.
Right now, Keith Folk having a very difficult time getting that changeup down in the zone. Back-to-back changeup to Zahn, and both of them high.
Chad Harville up in the Red Sox bullpen. To right field, Millar is there, and he makes the catch that ends the inning. But the Blue Jays come up with 2 more runs and lead it 8-3. 8-3, Toronto on top, and some defensive changes for the Blue Jays. Taking over in left field as he did last night. Reed Johnson into the game for Frank Catalanato. And the new pitcher for the Blue Jays, left-hander Scott Schoenweiss.
This appearance will tie him with Mike Timlin for the most in the American League. Of course, we saw Schoenweiss last night for 2/3 of an inning against the Red Sox. On the season, he has held lefties to a 177 batting average, and of course facing David Ortiz to lead off the 8th.
Ortiz with a walk in the first, grounded out to first in the 4th, and then it is 41st home run of the season in the 6th inning. Brought to you by Olympia Sports. In the category RBIs, David Ortiz with 127 now with his home run. To knock in that 127th, one better than Mark Teixeira. He's having a great season as well. I guess his name enters in there as well. Maybe not as highly thought of right now as Alex Rodriguez and David Ortiz as far as the candidates for the MVP, but Mark Teixeira up there in a lot of numbers. What has been a great season for the Texas Rangers first baseman. Ortiz did not offer. A shift on for David. In on the hands and fists it out towards shallow center. Wells on the move, won't get there. He knocks it down on a half hop. Ortiz on at first base, the leadoff single to begin things here in the 8th.
Plus that outfield playing very deep with Ortiz at the plate. And on a ball that was jammed David a little bit. Was able to drop it in front of Vernon Wells. We did that last night, too. I know. We'll see David Wells here tomorrow night.
Then the confusion will really begin. Manny Ramirez the batter with Ortiz at first base. And he grounded out to third base in the first, fly to center in the fourth, single, and scored in the sixth inning. 92 miles per hour from Schoenweiss. Schoenweiss, 31 years old, now resides in Fountain Hills, Arizona. To shortstop, Adams will go to second base, and that's all they'll get. Slowly chopped to him. They're able to retire Ortiz on the force out for the first out of the inning. Down, Manny at first base, and here's Jason Varitek. Struck out in the second, fouled out in the fourth, single to right in the sixth. Schoenweiss, originally an Anaheim Angels third-round pick back in 1996. Signed by the Toronto Blue Jays as a free agent prior to the season. First year in the big leagues, 1999 for Schoenweiss. Spent the last 2 years with the White Sox. Back at him. He'll try to start the double play. And the Toronto defense finishes it. 7.5 done. It is 8-3 Toronto.
Chad Harville will be taking over for the Red Sox as we go to the bottom of the 8th inning. And you see the numbers for Harville in 3 appearances for the Red Sox. Has not worked much recently. Last time Friday against the Yankees, an inning in that game, allowing a hit. Did have a couple of strikeouts, and you see his career numbers against the Blue Jays.
Aaron Hill leading it off for Toronto here in the last half of the 8th inning. Keith Folk goes an inning, giving up 2 hits, 2 runs. Walked 2 and did not strike anybody out. Harville, 28 years old. So chopped right side, Graffinino. Throws out Aaron Hill for the first out of the inning. We check back in with Eric Freed. Eric?
Thank you very much, Don. Let's check the road ahead. Brought to you by your New England Ford dealers, and David Wells will take the mound tomorrow for the Red Sox. He has not knocked off the Blue Jays in quite a long time. His last win against Toronto, April 8th, 2002. Remember, in his career with the Blue Jays, he was really good, 84 and 55. But going up against his former team has been another story altogether. 4-9 in 18 career starts against the Blue Jays. This year, 3 starts with the Red Sox against the Jays, 0-1 with an earned run average about 7. We'll see what Wells is able to do here in Toronto as the Sox wrap up the road trip and the series with the Jays tomorrow night.
All right, Eric, thanks very much. As David Wells, look forward to that. With the 12-7 record matched up against Josh Towers, who has 11 wins. Former Baltimore Oriole Josh Towers. 11-10, 3.88 earned run average.
Talking with David Wells in the Red Sox clubhouse this afternoon. He's really funny. It reminded him of the incident he had here with Cito Gaston, who was the manager. Cito came to get him out of the ball game, and Wells threw the ball down toward left field, and he started to get into it, and he said, he said he was calling my pitches for me. He says, I said, why don't you just come out here and pitch?
I'm sure that went over well.
Yeah. Cito Gaston here, 89 and 97. I remember doing that game. Guess what he wants to do when he's done playing?
I give up.
When I'm doing it.
Really?
Yep.
Wow.
Moving out to the West Coast.
You think he'd hold back anything that he needed to say at any time? I
question how long he might last.
Yes. Does he know he can't swear on the air?
He'll find out soon enough.
Only takes one.
I guess he's moving in the process of moving from Florida to back to San Diego. I'd like to hook up out there when his playing days are done.
There for a strike.
Talked about how much he really enjoyed this city. He loves the city of Toronto. And lived in a lot of different areas here. Of course, it is a great city. We love coming here.
Harville off the mound quickly. And he's able to throw out Gabe Gross, 2 down.
Another thing he was mentioned about post-baseball career is he wouldn't mind being a pitching coach, but it would have to be at the major league level. He said that he's got an awful lot to offer with his experience, which makes sense, obviously. He's been in the big leagues for so long, and he really feels he could help a lot of people.
You hear that a lot from ex-major league players. I know Mike Stanley had said that a while back when he was on the coaching staff as well. Guys who spend a long time in the major leagues, I think it's very difficult, and you probably know a lot better than I would, to return at any point to the minor leagues at that point.
Well, it is, and the tough thing about it today is they make so much money they don't have to go back to the minor leagues. You know, they don't need a job. So obviously, if they want to begin a coaching career, the majority want to start in the major leagues where they've been for so many years. And I also think, Don, that until you become a coach, and I did experience that for 1 year, it can be very frustrating because you know, there are certain ways that, you know, you have visions of things getting done, and then you started getting into some of the personalities. It doesn't quite work out the way you like it. It becomes frustrating. And I think that's something, you know, until you experience. I mean, it's easy to say, I want to be a coach. Of course you do. You know, you're in the major leagues and feel you can help people. But it can become a very frustrating position. It really can.
And you worked with some good ones when you were at AA in New Britain, didn't you?
Yeah, a lot of guys that got to the big leagues, not because of me, but because they were good players. You know, guys like Ellis Burks and Jody Reed, of course, Sam Horn. I'm sure that Jim Corsi was on that club. Quite a few guys. John Marzano.
2-out walk to Russ Adams, who makes his way down to first base. Reed Johnson coming up. I know it's hard for some guys, too, who are successful in the major leagues but can't teach it at the minor league level. It's different when you go to try to get someone else to do it and motivate someone else than what you just did naturally.
You know what I found the most frustrating part about it was the kids that really did not have a chance. I mean, you knew they didn't have a chance. They were the hardest workers, and that was so, you felt so bad for them because if you said be there at 10 o'clock in the morning, they'd be there at 10 in the morning. And the frustrating thing is you know, you work with them, but you know that their ability is not going to carry them to the big leagues, you know, and that's tough. And then, unfortunately, some of the higher picks didn't work as hard as they should, and that became very frustrating.
There are so many of those guys mixed throughout the minor leagues who have no chance. More of them than guys who have a chance to have successful major league careers.
You really have to become almost like a father to them, you know, and you got to know each one of them individually and know, you know, what you can and get out of them, what you can't get out of them, and when to approach them, when not to. It's not as easy. It's just not throwing on a uniform on and, okay, I'm going to conquer the world because I played in the big leagues. It's a little bit different than that.
A strike to Reed Johnson, and it's 2-1.
I don't think coaches at the major league level in today's baseball get as much credit as they should get because they spend hours and hours and hours and hours in preparation time, more so than ever in the past. And they have very, very long days with very little
recognition.
That's the word I was looking for. Yeah.
You always hear about the manager, and you don't often hear about the coaching staff. Great offensive numbers for the Red Sox. I think that gentleman does not get nearly the credit that he should for what has been done here in Boston. This is ripped towards the gap left center field. Back to the wall. Russ Adams trying to score all the way from first base. He will. Give Toronto their 9th run on top, 9-3. A 2-out RBI for Reed Johnson.
Every time Reed Johnson plays against the Red Sox, it seems like he does something big. And this time he gets in as a defensive replacement, gets his at bat, and gets his double to drive in a run.
Another walk that proves costly, as with 2 outs, Chad Harville walked Russ Adams. And Johnson with a double, and pretty impressive numbers for him in this season series. With 15 RBIs Here's Vernon Wells. Reached on an infield hit his last time up. 1 for 4 in the ball game tonight. Action. The closer up for Toronto Blue Jays, Miguel Batista. A 6-run lead now for Toronto on top, 9-3. Clement pitched the first 6 innings tonight. Up in the Red Sox bullpen. Clement allowed 6 runs on 6 hits. He walked 2, struck out 4. Keith Folk, working the 7th inning, allowed 2 runs on 2 hits. Wells hits a hot shot on a hop to Miller, knocks it down, stays with it, and throws out Vernon Wells to end the inning. Toronto picks up a run in the 8th. They lead it 9-3. By Aflac, by your Lincoln Mercury dealers, by Bacardi, by Infinity, and by Coors Light. Back in Toronto, 9-3. The Blue Jays on top as we head to the top half of the 9th inning. Toronto brings in Miguel Batista.
64th appearance, 27 saves on the season. That's in 34 opportunities. See the struggles he's had over his last 9 games. 3 blown saves in the most recent, coming on the 11th. That was against Tampa Bay.
So a chance here for him to work with a big lead. Toronto on top by 6 runs as Kevin Millar leads it off in the 9th. Fully grounded towards short. Russ Adams charging on the run and in time to get Millar. Summary is brought to you by Dunkin' Donuts. Looking at the Red Sox offense tonight for Boston. David Ortiz 2 for 3 with a home run, his 41st of the season, the only home run of the night for the Red Sox. They have mustered 3 runs in the game. RBIs for Ortiz, Millar, and for Gabe Kapler. Pinch hitter here, Roberto Pedagini. Pinch hitting with 1 down for Kevin Youkilis. Pedagini at 296, a homer. 8 runs batted in a Red Sox uniform. Youkilis tonight with a double back in the 2nd inning. 1 for 3 in the ball game tonight. Strike to Pedagini, and it's 1-2. Strike 3 call. Pedagini gone. And Batista has retired the first 2 here in the 9th.
Stay tuned after the game for WB Mason's Extra Innings and Granite City Electric's Extra Innings Extra tonight. Tom Caron and Gary DiSascino will break down Matt Clement's outing. Also, Eric Fried will speak with manager Terry Francona and Terry Steak. And we'll have out-of-town highlights of the Yankees, D-Rays, and A's Indians. Join TC and Gary right after the game.
Miller puts a charge into this one into deep center field, and it is caught by Vernon Wells in center field, able to climb the ladder and make the catch to end the ball game as Bill Miller gives it a ride to deep center. Miller still running around the bases as he gets the bad news, but a great catch by Vernon Wells.
Well, maybe the best play of the game, saved the right for the end here as Bill Miller makes a bid, but Vernon Wells right back to the wall, times the jump perfectly, and makes the catch.
Gold Glove Award winner last year, 1-2-3 night for Batista. The Blue Jays win. Back with more from Toronto after.